Pahrum's most watched and #1 media source for local news and weather with Deanna O'Donnell.
Welcome to News 46's Week in Review, your #1 source for local news. I'm Deanna O'Donnell.
And I'm Jason Koblentz. A 24-year-old man was arrested for possession of drug paraphernalia and being under the influence on Calvada.
24-year-old Keanu Kwai Garati was arrested for possession of a hypodermic device ×9, possession of drug paraphernalia ×4, as well as being under the influence of a controlled substance. Deputies were dispatched to an apartment on Calvada in regards to a verbal domestic. While on the property trying to make contact, they observed a white and purple Ford Mustang pull into the parking lot. The driver was identified as Keanu Kwai Garati, who stated in previous contact with deputies that he did not possess a valid driver's license. During contact with Keanu and his passenger, Jarek Leiden, deputies received a consent to search themselves as well as their vehicle. They recovered several hypodermic needles as well as some heroin that Keanu apparently had in the rim of his hat. They also found foil that contained substance that seemed to be heroin. Upon arrival at the Nye County Sheriff's Office, Keanu gave consent for a urine test. His test came back positive for opiates. He is being held at the Nye County Sheriff's Office. This is Deanna O'Donnell for News 46. And one man is arrested for possession of stolen property, drugs, and weapons. Deputies arrested 36-year-old Aaron Carlson for possession of stolen property, possession of a hypodermic device ×6, possession of prescription pills, along with possession of various guns and possible stolen equipment. Deputies received information that Aaron Carlson had a motorcycle quad in his possession at his residence at 2661 West Bell Vista. He had purchased it in trade for methamphetamine. According to the information, Carlson made a statement that the motorcycle was stolen and being dismantled. Carlson apparently had been selling and using methamphetamine. Deputies applied for and were granted a search warrant for the residence, and upon arriving, Nye County Sheriff's Office made contact with Carlson, who was the only occupant. After searching the residence, deputies found several items that they suspected were stolen, along with hypodermic needles and methamphetamine pipes. Upon search of the residence, deputies found several vehicles along with the hypodermic devices ×6, prescription pills, methamphetamine pipes as well. Aaron Carlson is being held at the Nye County Detention Center for $90,192. This is Deanna O'Donnell for News 46.
Tiffany Rubio was sentenced to 5 years probation several weeks ago after Judge Lane agreed to accept a plea deal between her and prosecutors. Rubio had spent the previous year in jail after being named as one of the 6 defendants involved in the May 1, 2011 stabbing death of 56-year-old Michael Frazier and the attempted murder of 21-year-old Antoinette Bell. She allegedly attempted to mislead police during their investigation into the drug-related crime. She was out of jail and on probation for less than a month when she apparently decided to use meth once again. Judge Robert Lane has now sent Tiffany Rubio to state prison to finish the 4 years left on her sentence.
Statistics show that every 15 minutes a person is killed by an impaired driver. Pahrump Valley High School held an event that hopefully will save lives. Today at Pahrump Valley High School, there was a deadly crash. This is part of a mock exercise for the Every 15-Minute program. A grant allows this to happen every 3 years.
Well, the first day we have a mock car wreck, and we take students out of class every 15 minutes. A Grim Reaper will come to their class and pick them up out of the class and take them back to a room where we do team building exercises. And then that night we'll have both a parent and a student workshop.
One of the mothers was here at the hospital, and actually her daughter was pronounced. She also wrote an obituary for her, too, as well.
Yes. The obituaries are read as the Grim Reaper takes the students out of class to the entire class. That way, more than just one person gets the effect, the entire class gets it.
And the reason why we do every 15 minutes is because?
It's because a statistic came out a couple years ago that every 15 minutes someone dies from an alcohol-related car accident.
And how many victims did we have? How many people did we have involved in the actual mock car accident?
In the mock car accident itself, we had 4. One was pronounced dead at the scene. One was rushed on ground to Desert View Hospital, and another was flight for life out of there. And then the 4th, who was a drunk driver, was put in prison.
And they did actual field sobriety tests on him on scene and then took him into custody.
Yep. Yep. They did it like it was a real car accident, like he had really been drinking.
Went to a car accident where I witnessed my daughter lifeless, I guess, and bloody, and brought her brother so that he could see it and the impact that it made on a family. And then, oh goodness, very emotional when to see your kid like that. And thank God I was blessed that it's not real and mine's walking away, but so many don't walk away. And just to go through just having the hospital tell me that my daughter died, and it's very emotional, and I wouldn't want any family, and my prayers go out to those that really have to deal with it.
They brought you into the hospital and told you what every parent dreads, that they just wish they would never hear, and that's that she did not survive this accident. When you were called into the hospital, were you told originally that she was in an accident, or were you just told to come to the hospital?
I was told that in an accident, come to the hospital and wait in the waiting room, and someone would be out. And then they brought me into a room and said a doctor would come talk to me. And when the doctor came talk to me, said that my daughter was in an accident and she did not make it. And it was very emotional.
What was it like to go into the room and actually see her? I know that she was covered up, and then they revealed your daughter to you.
And that was very emotional, just to think that that could be real.
Okay. The mock vehicle collision at Pahrump Valley High School gives a graphic depiction of the realistic results of driving under the influence. We continue with James Oscarson from Desert View Hospital and the students who acted in the simulated vehicle collision.
We actually had the opportunity at the hospital here today to participate in this every 15-minute program. We had a patient that was actually brought in by helicopter and by the ambulance to be treated for injuries sustained in a drunk driving incident.
One of the patients, I believe his name is Ty, is suffering. He's in a coma, right?
He's going to be in a coma for a while. We're afraid that the prognosis is not real good for him, and unfortunately, the other patient that they brought in did not survive.
She seemed okay at first, and then she coded, and the doctors actually performed CPR on her for quite a while.
Doctors did do the drugs and all the measures that you would take to sustain life, and it just didn't work at this point in time, and we unfortunately had to pronounce her.
This is an everyday occurrence at the hospital for various different reasons. It was kind of dramatic to see what the doctors and you were calling times of different times that they were putting in administering different drugs.
Keep the times in order to keep a record of what happened, the medications that go in. The doctor wants to know when the code first started, what happened. So that gives us a very accurate record and detailed record of what goes on during that process, during that code process.
The female flatlined here, and then her parent was in a room waiting, and you had to go talk to the parent.
Dr. Weissman did indeed go in and visit with the parent, explain the extent of the injuries, and explain that there was nothing we could do, and she had passed away.
So the mom came in to see her daughter here?
Yes, the mother came in to see the daughter. Dr. Weissman was with her, and it was explained a little bit more what had happened. And it's a very emotional scene for people. Even when you're prepared for that, Deanna, it's a very emotional scene, and elicited a great deal of emotional response, not only from the mom of the intended victim, but from the people around here. You notice a lot of the students here had tears in their eyes when that information came through.
Well, I thought it was sad, and it made me think a little bit not to drink, while driving. I don't do it anyways, I'm an athlete. But yeah. And then her, I don't know.
It was very emotional, especially because my mom was involved in everything, and it's just crazy to show that this stuff really does happen and can happen to anyone.
It happens all the time, unfortunately. You passed away?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I got transported to the hospital and I died, and they told my mom the bad news, and it's sad. It's very heartbreaking.
Did this bring some reality to your guys' life? Because, a lot of times people don't think that this happens to them.
It'll definitely make us think twice.
Yeah, I'd never do it, ever.
You were in a coma?
Yeah. I was in a coma and no one came to me. Just kidding.
So what vehicle were you guys in? The car that was the victims of the actual drunk driver, right? In opposing.
He was with the victim. I was with the drunk driver. My date was the drunk driver, unfortunately.
And we'll be right back with more News 46 Week in Review. Don't go anywhere.